everyone. This is a short video to show you how to create an XY scatter plot in Excel 2010. The directions for how to do this are pretty much identical to the way that you would do it in Excel 2007. So if you have the 2007 version, you should be able to use these same directions to create your XY scatter plot. Okay, so what we're looking at here in this Excel sheet is a set of data that's probably similar to what you may have generated in your first lab. You have some crawdads that were measured, and you characterize their masses, their weights in grams, as well as measuring their lengths, and you want to determine if there's any kind of a relationship between those two measures, whether there's a correlation between weight and length. And to do that, you're going to create an XY scatter plot to sort of display that a correlation or relationship between these two variables. So what you want to do first is graph one of your data series. So the way that these data points are arranged in the worksheet, we have all of our individual samples that were measured, so males listed first, females listed second, right, and their weights and lengths. What we're going to do first is create a graph using just the data from the male crawdads, right? So the way that we do that, and I'm on a PC, it's slightly different if you have a Mac how you do this, but basically you want to click and drag to select the data that you want to graph first. And so we're just going to start with the data from the males first. We selected both columns for that male data. And now what you want to do is go up here to the Insert tab, open up the Insert options, and you're going to choose Scatterplot over here. Now when you click on Scatter, you have a bunch of options, and what you want to choose is the option that's going to put your data points on the graph but is not going to connect them with a line. And so here we are. Here are the data in these two columns plotted. Here are your weight measurements, and here are your length measurements on the y-axis. Alright, so now what you want to do is you want to add your female data set into the same graph. And there are a couple of different ways that you can do this. You can either click on the graph, and it's important that you make sure that you've clicked on the graph to get your chart tools. Otherwise, you'll notice if I click off of the graph, those options go away, and that's a very common thing that happens. You can't find the menus that you're looking for because you're not actually clicked on the graph. But if you click on the graph, you get your chart tools options that come up, and you can either click on this tab right here, which is the Select Data option, and if you click on that, you'll see that you have the option right here to add more data to your graph. So if you click on Add, you'll pull up a little window that's going to let you name the data that you want to add, and then choose the values that you want to add to the graph, the x-axis values and the y-axis values. So first let's name it. So these are going to be the females that we're adding. Oops, females that we're adding. So first I'm going to choose the x values. Now on this graph, the x values are the weight measurements, and to do that I'm going to click on this little window right here. And I'm basically going to do the same thing I did before for the male data, click and drag, but this time only selecting the x-axis values. Once I've selected the correct range, click on the little window again, and now I want to choose the Y series values. So I'm going to go through the same process, click on the little window, choose only the y-axis values, click on this little icon, and now I'm good to go. Say OK. All right. Now, my first series with the male data is still just called Series 1. At this point, you might want to change that. Since we've already labeled the other data, females, you might change the male data. And the way that you're going to do that is select that series and say Edit, and then you can name it. Right? Males. Click OK, and OK again, and there you go. There's your data plotted correctly. Now, the thing that this graph is missing is a title at the top, labels for both the x and the y axes with units included, and the way that you add those labels in is to select from a menu of different chart layouts, and you need to be on the Design tab under Chart Tools to be able to see these. Notice if I go to Layout, disappears, so go back to Design, and if you click on this little drop down menu, it'll give you all the different sort of layout options that are available. And we want something that's going to give us a space to write a title, a space to put our y-axis labels, a space to put our x-axis labels, and it includes a legend that labels the different data series that we have. So we're going to click that, and now you'll notice that on your graph you can now enter in those important labels. So on this axis we might want to say weight in grams. We can just click in that box, erase what's there, and type it in. On the y-axis we're dealing with length in millimeters maybe, and then you could come up with your own appropriate title, right? That includes the data that are being presented in the graph, the relationship that you're trying to draw out of that, what organism you're working with as you learned in the lab. Okay, well I hope that you found that useful. Good luck with your data.